Hello, and welcome to day 1 of solving systems by substitution. All right, let's get started. So first thing that we need to think about when thinking about substitution is replacing. So the way I like to go about thinking is we have substitutes in school. When I'm gone, you have a substitute. It's an adult to replace me. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to replace things. Now, number 1, you may notice that both of the equations are y equals is. So, let me bring this question. Would it be true, would it be correct of me to say that the letter y equals a letter y? The answer is yes. Y equals y, x equals x, z equals z. Whatever something is, it equals itself. That's true. That's fact. So, if y equals y, from there I can say, well, if this y on the left equals the top equation and the y on the right equals the bottom equation, I can replace, I can substitute. So instead of the yellow y, I can write 7x plus 3. Instead of the green y, I can write 3x plus 3. And now we have a wonderful equation that we can solve. I'll begin by subtracting 3x from both sides. So I've got 4x's plus 3 equals 3. Next, I'll subtract 3 from both sides because I'd like to get the x by itself. Now, don't be afraid of the 0 because on the left, we're left with 4x. And on the right, 3 minus 3 is 0. Our last step is to divide both sides by 4. X equals 0 divided by anything is 0. So x equals 0. Now this is great. We found x, but we still need to find y because there are 2 letters in these equations. It doesn't matter which equation you use. I feel like using the green one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this equation, but instead of x, I'm going to plug in 0 because that's what we got for x. All right. 3 times 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. So our answer is written as a coordinate, x comma y, 0, 3. Let's try that again in number 2. Once again, we have 2 y's, so we can say that y equals y. Well, if y equals y, then I can say the one on the left is this yellow one, and the one on the right is the green one. And then I can go ahead and substitute. So on the right, I have negative 2x minus 1. I meant on the left. And then on the right, I have 5x minus 15. Let's start solving. The first step that I'm going to take is to add 2x to both sides. So I am left with negative 1 equals 7x minus 15. Next, let's add 15 to both sides. So we've got 14 equals 7x, and we get to do our famous last step, divide both sides by 7. 2 equals x. Wonderful. Let's see which equation we can use this time. I feel like using the yellow one this time. Now, it really doesn't matter which one I use, as long as I use one of them. So instead of negative 2x, I plug in the 2 for x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, and negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. Y equals negative 5. So our solution, 2 comma negative 5. Onwards we go to number 3. Similar idea. We've got 2 y equals. Let's get started. This means we can take these equations and set them equal to each other. So we have 4x minus 11 equals 7x minus 17. I'm going to start by subtracting 4x from both sides. So we've got negative 11 equals 3x minus 17. Next, let's add 17 to both sides. So we have 6 equals 3x's. And of course, we end with division. 2 equals x. Which do I feel like using? I think I'm going to use the top one. And the way that I'm picking, rather than randomly, I'm looking for smaller numbers, because that kind of makes life a bit easier. But in class, I was just doing whatever you guys recommended, and we would always get the same answer, even though classes would pick different equations. Okay, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 11 is negative 3. So 2, negative 3 is our answer. Let's do number 4. Awesome. Once again, let's set it up with y equals y. And that tells us that negative 2x minus 4 equals 4x minus 16. And let's color code, color code. I love to color code. Okay. Think about what first step you want to take. The answer key that I posted on Teams was first period. So whatever method they did may have been different than any other period, but we all got the same answers. I'm going to start by adding 2x to both sides. So negative 4 equals 6x minus 16. Next, I'm going to add 16 to both sides, which gives us 12 equals 6x. And we finish with division. All right, which one do I feel like plugging into? The yellow one looks best. Let's do it because it has the smallest numbers. So y equals negative 2 times 2 minus 4. So y equals negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. So our solution, 2, negative 8. Okay. Number 5's quite different. Notice that this time we only have one equation that's y equals. And that's okay, because we can still substitute. Except instead of substituting both of the y's, I'm only going to substitute in one of them. I'm going to take the bottom equation and plug it into the top. This is what it will look like. Instead of 7x minus y, I'm going to have 7x minus, and then I'm going to replace y with negative 3x. Let's simplify. 7x minus negative 3x is actually 7x plus 3x because it's two minuses. Let's combine some like terms. 7x's and 3x's give us 10x's. And of course we finish by dividing both sides by 10. So although this looked a little weird, this ended up kind of being easier than the previous ones. Now, with problems like this, I don't pick which equation I use. I just straight up go with the y equals equation. So if I solve for x, I use the y equals because it's set up. Now, could we use 7x minus y equals negative 10 to solve it? Sure. I just think this is easier. So instead of negative 3x, I have negative 3 times negative 1, which is positive 3. So our answer, negative 1, positive 3. Let's continue. Number 6, we also only have one y equals. So we're going to take this y equals and plug it into the second equation. So instead of 4x minus 2y, I'm going to have 4x minus 2 times 3x. Let's simplify. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Let's combine these x's. 4x's minus 6x's leaves us with negative 2. And of course, we finish by dividing both sides by negative 2. X equals negative 1. I swear I didn't make these numbers repeat themselves. I used a random generator. It just statistically, the chance happened that way. I'm once again going to use my y equals equation to plug in my x. So instead of 3x, I have 3 times negative 1. So y equals negative 3. Our answer, negative 1, negative 3. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll call it a day. In number 7, we're still going to take the y equals equation and plug it in. Now it's going to look a little different because the y equals here has 2 terms in it. All right, let's start it. We still have 2x and minus 3, but instead of y, we're going to plug in 4x plus 22. When we have a number in front of parentheses, think about what we do. We distribute, we multiply. So let's do that. So 2x stays 2x. Negative 3 times 4x, 4x is minus 12x. Negative 3 times 22, negative 66. What else can we do on that left-hand side? We can combine these like terms. So 2x's minus 12x's is negative 10x. Next, I'm going to add 66 to both sides of the equation. So negative 10x equals 4 plus 6 is 70. And then I'll divide by negative 10. Now, very similar to 5 and 6, just a little bit extra step, like one extra step, I think. So x equals negative 7. Once again, I'm going to use my y equals equation to plug in my x. So y equals 4 times negative 7 plus 22. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. Negative 28 plus 22 is negative 6. So our answer is negative 7, negative 6. I know this was a lot, but you guys did great in class if you were there. If anyone has questions, if you have questions, please feel free to ask me or anyone else that you feel comfortable asking about solving equations by substitution. Day 1. Have a good rest of whatever day of the week it is for you. Bye!